If we want to analyze our biofield, we'll have to lengthen the timeline. We mark 1 second. One can't see any real difference in this enlargement. Only when the signal is magnified to 3,000th of a second do we see how the brain works. For 2,000ths of a second, it works on a very high frequency, then drops off for 1,000th of a second before going up again. That's very unusual for common signals. We suspect that when we concentrate strongly, heal, search for something or rejoice, our brain functions at an unusually high frequency, millions of times higher than brain researchers assume.
Do you understand what the sensor is measuring?
Only partially. How can my father or I explain it when even science and modern physicists can't? We're talking about fundamentally new findings in the area of physics. We believe our work concerning new research methods and a new type of medicine is only a small part of what the investigation of mental powers can mean for humanity.
Perhaps we can also examine scientifically how it's possible that other beings can speak, influence, or even act inside us. It's an agonizing procedure for Lamo Dolkar every time she relinquishes her own ego to allow another, higher order of being to enter her body. In her case, it is a Tibetan deity named Dorje Yudroma. In order to receive the deity Dorje Yudroma in her body, Lamo Dolkar prays for forgiveness for her sins and vows to cleanse her thoughts, words and actions of egoism, arrogance and ignorance. She asks her master and the Dalai Lama, as well as the deity of compassion, for help to accommodate the other higher identity. She has to deactivate her own consciousness, which operates according to another set of truths. The consciousness of the deity which now controls her operates on a purely spiritual level and is much more radical and energetic than Lamo Dolkar could ever be herself. Her husband, Tenba, has assisted her for decades while she's in this trance state. Now, the identity change from Lamo Dolkar to Dorje Yudroma has been completed. Yudroma wants to dress in a way befitting a deity. In pre-Buddhist times, Dorje Yudroma was a nameless mountain spirit. She was called by Padmasambhava, the founder of Tibetan Buddhism, into the pantheon of Buddha as a protector of the earth. Over the last several generations, Yudroma has been a goddess of refugees. In the present generation, when Lamo Dolkar was only 11 years old, Yudroma made her her personal medium in order to fulfill the Buddhist duty of helping humanity, but the young girl was ostracized and treated as a lunatic. It took decades before Lamo Dolkar was finally recognized as the incarnation of the salutary Yudrunma. On December 17, 1992, the Dalai Lama certified that she is the official incarnation of Dorje Yudrunma, who he called a shamanic manifestation of cosmic powers. It is said that since she was blessed and recognized by the Dalai Lama, she has become much more serene and conciliatory as Yudrunma. Yet many still fear her, for she often openly condemns the iniquities of her patients, things which should remain secret. Lamo Dolkar, or better Yudrunma, treats nearly all illnesses, physical, psychic and spiritual problems. What she sucks out, she used to swallow. Now she spits it out and shows it to her patients in order to strengthen their belief and the effect of her treatment. Usually, one treatment is enough, for which a donation of 50 Nepalese rupees, or about €1, is usually made. If I'm still preoccupied with my doubts and desire for rational knowledge, I won't find much help or sympathy here. Yudrunma isn't known as an enlightened deity. If she senses my arrogant concept of the truth, she might feel offended and actually harm me. I can only be helped if my contradictory attitude doesn't become apparent. The next patient complains of back pain. Although the shaman only treats him with a dull kitchen knife, she apparently sucks something out of him. This even happens when she treats patients over the telephone. Just like with the Philippine surgeons, this treatment is also a depiction of spiritual work being carried out on the patient.
Why did you argue with your neighbor? Don't do that anymore. Go and apologize. Stop thieving and fighting. Do you understand? Obey your mother.
Now it's my turn. I hope she's more gentle with me.
I had an operation in here, and since then wasn't here.
A year and a half ago, I had a meniscus operation. Since then, I've repeatedly experienced strong pain in my knee.
Loose. Yeah, so.
Do you have pain?
Sometimes, yeah. Since 1.5 years.
This pain is more acute than any I had before. So acute I could scream. Does it have to be this agonizing? Does my consciousness need this much pain to convince it of the efficacy of this treatment? To trigger the necessary mechanisms in my brain so that my knee can heal? Perhaps I need the pain because in a purely spiritual way, like with praying or magnetic healing, my condition doesn't change much. My consciousness is used to expensive diagnostic technologies and operations carried out by competent body engineers to achieve healing. Obviously, I need a much more intense impulse to activate my self-healing potential. Even penicillin